Okay. This week, we're going to be talking about remainders. Last week, we did division using partial quotients to get to your final quotient, right? The week before, you used area model. We are going to continue using our partial quotients on our division this week with our remainders. So turn in your journal to the next blank page. I'm on page 79. I had to tear a page out of mine because last week we were on page 77. Okay, I had to tear a page out, so I'm on 79. You should be somewhere around this unless you came to us late, but your next blank page, and I want you to title it Remainders. First, let's talk about what that even means. A remainder, it's the leftover. Remember, when we're dividing, we're making equal groups, right? So the remainder is the part of the quotient that doesn't fit into an equal group. So let's write, what do I want you to write? I want you to write the part that doesn't fit into the equal groups. And then maybe put a dash and put the leftover. The leftover. Okay. So this week we're not going to write down steps because you have your steps right here. It should be on the page right before what you're writing. Okay, this is the steps. The steps are not changing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to write down this problem. I want you to write down, we're going to write it two ways. We're going to write it out horizontally, and then we're going to write it in the house with our flagpole and all that jazz. So I want you to do 532 divided by 5. I want you to write it like this. Hopefully that blue is easy to see. 532 divided by 5. And what you guys showed me last week is you really know your vocabulary. I was so impressed. You guys really did a good job listening to Miss Murphy when she was teaching you those words, divisor, dividend, quotient. She will be so proud of how well you know your vocabulary. Okay, so now when we're using partial quotients, what was our step one? Place the problem into the long division setup, which is putting it inside of our house. So we know that 532 is our dividend. It's going to go inside the house. We know that 5 is the divisor, the number doing the dividing. And then we're going to make our flagpole. This one doesn't need to be too crazy long. Okay. You might need some space down here. I haven't decided yet what we're going to put there, but don't use up your whole page. Okay, so what was our step 2? We need to make a cheat sheet, right? Okay, and what kind of pattern do we use? We use a 1, 2, 5 pattern. We're going to continue using that. It's the exact same steps, guys, okay? So we're going to do 5 times 1, and remember, we're multiplying 5 because it is the divisor. I noticed last week on some of your independent practice that some of you, there were lots of problems where 3 was the divisor, and then when you had to move on to another divisor, your brain was stuck on 3. So make sure you really look to be sure you are using the right divisor. So I'm going to do 5 times 1 is 5. I'm going to do 5 times 2 is 10. And I'm going to do 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, now we need to keep going, right? Our dividend is still bigger than all of our products, so we're going to keep going. 5 times 10 equals 50. 5 times 20. I know that 5 times 2 is 10, and we have 1 power of 10. I'm going to do 5 times 50. 5 times 5 is 25, and 1 power of 10. I need to keep going. I'm getting close, but I need to keep going. I'm going to do 5 times 100 equals 500. And 5 times 200 equals, I know 5 times 2 is 10, and we have 2 powers of 10. I can stop now. The reason I didn't stop right here is 532 is greater than 500. Okay, so we needed to keep going. Okay, so now we're going to look over here. Which of these gets us closest to 532 without going over? And it's 500, so I'm going to write 500. And I need to write what I multiplied by, the factor right here, 100. Okay, now I need to subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 5 minus 5 is 0. So now we have 32. So I'm going to come over here and look. 25 can get me the closest. 25. And my factor was 5. Okay. Can I take 5 things from 2 things? No. Okay, and we're going to do 12 minus 5, that's 7. And 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, so now we look. What can get us closest to 7 without going over? It's 5. My factor was 1. And 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay, here's where things change a little bit. We are still going to come over here and we're going to add these up. So I'm going to do it right here. 100 plus 5 plus 1 is 6. 106. I'm going to write that up here. But look, we still have this 2. Circle it and draw an arrow to it. Okay, and I want you to write remainder. This is the remainder because look at our cheat sheet. Can we get a product that is close to 2 without going over? No. Remember when I told you whatever's in here is what the bank has and this is what you need? If the bank only has $2 left, they cannot give you $5. They can't give you more money than what they have. So this is the remainder of 2. Okay? If we had 532 cupcakes and we needed to put them in 5 boxes equally, we could put 106 cupcakes in each box, but 2 cupcakes could not go into a box. Okay? And we'll talk more about interpreting our remainders on Wednesday, but for today, right now, we're just seeing what happens with this number when we can no longer get our money. Okay? This is the remainder.